it's Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a fun one from Van Halen today. We're learning how to do bottoms up off of Van Halen II. This one's got some great swing to it, like Eddie the King of Swing. So a couple of really cool guitar solos in it, and some just really fun riffs. So rhythmically, it's a lot of fun to get into in that swing, and it's got a little finger style in it, a little finger picking, and as only Eddie does it. And then obviously those solos. So we're gonna take a look at the whole thing. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the bell, all the good stuff. Support your favorite guitar YouTuber, preferably tutorial YouTubers who actually teach you something. That kind of niche on YouTube is really kind of dying out, and people are just into like react stuff and stuff. So, you know, whatever, watch what you want. But if you really want to, if the guys that are actually teaching you something and if you're getting anything, support them, share their videos, like and comment on them. If they have academies like mine, join them. It really helps continue this because YouTube's not helping at all. You'll see a link to my academy in the description below. Free 7-day trial. You get access to all of my courses, free personalized support from me, access to my weekly, my live streams I do every weekend with just Academy members. So it's a really good community over there. Please come join us. All right, let's kick into it. Now, first of all, the tuning here is standard Van Halen E-flat tuning. So just tune the guitar down a half step. So just like E-flat or D-sharp, A-flat or G-sharp, D-flat or C-sharp, G-flat or F-sharp, B-flat or A-sharp, or E-flat or D-sharp. I know I don't have to go through that if you're tackling Van Halen stuff, you know this. But what is strange is the tuning on the recording, well, this happens a lot, especially in classic music, classic rock and stuff, it's a little bit sharp on the recording. So it's about a little less than halfway between E-flat and E standard. So that's usually from the old analog tape machines, that just from where it was quartered to where it was eventually you know, mastered at or whatever, the tape's just going a little bit faster and speeds up the pitch a little bit. So it happens a lot for that music. So if you're playing along with a recording, you're tuned down to just regular E-flat standard, which is what they're actually performing it in. It might sound a little bit pitchy, but that's why. So you can raise your tuning up just slightly and match it if you know how to do that, or else it's just kind of fair warning that's what's going to happen. All right, so now let's start in here with this intro, this kind of like, what Eddie generally does, he literally rolls his volume off a lot. Now mine's a little bit more distorted than his. I didn't want to battle the gate there a little bit, so a little bit of gate on it, so it's gonna, if I get too low and clean it up a lot, it just starts cutting it out. So I didn't want to, I was too lazy to mess with the settings, so that's why it's a little bit more distorted. But anyway, so Ed had a very particular way he liked to finger pick. And it is crazy because it makes things much, much, much easier to do. And he obviously just picked this up intuitively, and that's what Ed always did. He was able to take these things that were people would struggle with, and he'd figure out a way to intuitively do it much easier. That's like solving the arpeggio problem with the tapping or whatever. He just had the genius for that. And this is something a lot of people, they try to, you know, finger pick with more of the outside fingers, which you don't have as much independence with these fingers. So Ed didn't like to do that. He liked to keep it between, when he's finger picking, between really the middle and the index finger. And so how he accomplished that, and you can see this, I learned this from when I did little guitars and figured out what he's actually doing, is he's holding the pick still with just the index and the thumb, which he would hold the pick different ways too, but for this, he would hold it between index and thumb, and he would still use the index to finger pick with while he's holding the pick. So you're gonna put the pick in a place to where you can actually, you can still pick with the index and the middle together, and you have the pick up there so you can. So that really helps, especially for the little rock guys who don't work a lot on finger picking. These two fingers are a lot easier to handle. So you're just holding the thumb up, probably the pick up a little bit higher. It still allows you to go down and hit those bass notes and pick it. So that's what he's doing. He's still picking with his index and his middle. Those are the ones that are actually plucking the strings. So it's gonna start like this. And So that is just, again, first of all, you're gonna hold the second fret there on the D and the G. You can hit the open low E string. I know it's an E flat, but we're just gonna call it like it's a standard tune guitar. Let's name the strings like that. Hit the open E, and then as you let that ring, you're gonna come up, you're holding the second fret across the D and the G. You're gonna pluck the D and the G, like I said, with the index and middle. And then you move the note up on the G string to the 4th fret and keep the second fret there on the D. Kind of go back and forth between those 3 times. Then you're gonna come over here to the 2nd fret there on the G, 3rd on the B. And obviously you're gonna move over and pluck those strings with the G and the B with the same 2 fingers. And then you kind of start over. Get the low E going first. And then instead of going up to the high, the G and the B string, you end it with this chord the second time through. So it's the open D and the 2nd fret there on the G. So it goes. So we have this. Repeat. And then after when you come out for the second ending, the second time through, it goes. And that's the way he's always going to end the section. We play an extended version of this, the bridge, later on in the song, which is basically the same thing, just played with more repeats, but it has the same ending. And that ending right there is, you can start with the low E again, and the 2nd fret across the D and the G, and then you go to the 4th fret on the G, 2nd fret on the D, back to the 2 across both strings, and then that open D, 2nd fret on the G. And then it repeats that, and then one more time. So that's the ending whenever you hear that section. So. All right, so that's it for the intro, and then we have the first main riff of the song, which really makes up a lot of the tune. It looks like this. You kind of roll up the volume, get the full distortion, and we have. And then the vocals come in. So that's gonna start around. Got an A power chord, so you hit the open A string first, and then. Now this is really what kind of get that swing feel. So that's the first thing, is you want to keep that feel going the entire time you're playing pretty much any of the rhythm part of the song. So just you can practice that on an A, just get that swing. All right, so then we start the actual. So that starts that kind of riff on the open A power chord. And then you're gonna slide from the 4th fret to the 5th fret on the D string. And then grab the 5th fret on the G and let those ring together. And then you're gonna hit it on the A string while you're letting these ring. So it's just this upstroke there on the A, and then 3, 0, 3, 0. When you hit that last 0, you're gonna go back and hit that A chord. So we have this. And then we go into another slide, which is. So that's gonna be a quick slide from the 1st fret on the G string to the 2nd fret on the G. And then you hit the 3rd fret on the B with that 2nd fret. And then that same little kind of lick on the A string. So we have this. So you go back and do it the same way we did the first time. And then you're going to end it with the open D and G string there. And that's going to be the end of really the intro, because then we start playing the same riff with the vocals, which obviously makes up the verse. So we have this. All right, and then the verse comes in, which is pretty much the same riff. So right there, where we hit the open Gs in the intro, we hit those open D and open G, so kind of the open G power chords where it's kind of emphasizing there. When we hit that there in the verse, we're gonna come on. So you just kind of come. You're gonna hit the D power chord twice at the 5th fret, and then down to 4, 3, and then it gets down to the 2nd fret. And then that's when the pre-chorus actually starts, was when you get to the 2nd fret. So altogether, kind of the verse, so you know it's kind of the same riff repeated. And then, like I said, in the first intro, when we had those open Gs at the end of the riff, when those come in, we're going to actually be hopping up and grabbing these D power chords and do this little chromatic thing to get us to the pre-chorus. So we have this all together. All right, so when we get to that pre-chorus there, we have this. All right, so that's pretty simple, but gotta get that swing feel. So you start with this B power chord. I like to play it's kind of 3-note version of it. 2nd fret there on the A string, 4th on the D, 4th on the G. So it starts just going between the B power chord and the A power chord. And then you're gonna move up here and just grab the C power chord at the 3rd fret. So this. Right, you're trying to get that swing. You kind of hold that for a second, and then you start back over the swing again, but you're starting from the A instead of starting from the B. And then back up to that C. So we have this. And then you're going to take this up to the D power chord. I'm going to start doing the same kind of swing, but from the D power chord to the E power chord, so from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And you're gonna come back down and pause on that 5th fret, the D power chord, and then go back 7, 5, 7, 5, 7. So all together. All right, and then we get to the chorus, which has this, which is basically the verse here, but we have this little ending to it that's got some harmonics and stuff. So this is basically how the first chorus is played. So it looks like this. All right, so that starts with that same main riff. So you kind of get back to this A, like you're starting the riff over on the A power chord. You kind of hold it though. And then you're going to jump up here and go. It's the G power chord here at the 10th fret of the A string. Then go up 11, 12. 10, 10, 11, 12. And then we have some harmonics. So those harmonics are going to be the first at the 12th fret. You're going to pick the D string, and then the 12th fret harmonic across the G and the B, just with an upstroke. And then the same thing that we did here, but we're going to do it at the 7th fret. So the D string and then the G and the B together. And then you're going to come down to the 5th fret, and it's going to be single notes here. D string, 5th fret, 5th fret G, and then back to the 5th fret on the Ds for this. So you got to really kind of, right after this 12th fret, it really cuts that 12th fret. He doesn't let it ring as long as the first two. So he's got to get back to that, get to those harmonics. All right, from there, we go back to the same verse again, and then the same pre-chorus. So nothing new to learn there. But out of the second pre-chorus, we have the first solo. Now, the first solo is actually, not all Van Halen records have a rhythm guitar part, but what's the point? But anyway, this one does. So we're going to have a, I'm going to show you the rhythm guitar part, kind of change the keys up here. We're going to get to, I'll show you the rhythm part, and then I'll show you the solo. So the rhythm is this. All right, so that's just starts there at the, we're taking it to F sharp, kind of F sharp minor. The solo's in. So we're gonna be doing this right here, this 5th fret, I mean, sorry, 2nd fret there on the power chord, the low E string. Get that kind of swing going. And then to the A power chord, B at the 2nd fret off the A string, and then the C power chord up to the 3rd fret. And then you go back to that rhythm on the F sharp power chord. And then we have 3 different chords ended the second time around, which is that B power chord off the 2nd fret of the A, then back down to the F sharp power chord, the 2nd fret of the low E, and then the open A power chord. So far we have this. And then we start back over, kind of the same as the first half that we did originally. 0, 2, 3. And then it's going to end like this, which is about kind of briefly do that rhythm on the F sharp. Hit the A. He hits this in the solo as well too, but this is the A power chord to the D power chord to end it. So all together for just, it's a very short solo, so we basically have this. All right, so now let me play through Eddie's solo for you, and I'll show you how to play it note for note. All right, so that's gonna start here. We're up in the F sharp minor pentatonic. So it is. So that starts here at the 14th fret there on the G string. And then you can do a quick bend and release at the 16th fret. Pull off to 14, over to 16 on the D. And then come up here to the 14th fret there, 17th fret on the G string. On the B string, bend and release, pull off to 14, then pull off 16 to 14 on the G. And then to a bend at the 17th fret there on the high E, and pull off to 14. So then we have this kind of signature fast Eddie blues look. Looks like this. So that's going to start, the first time playing it is a little bit different than the rest. So you're going to start with this, which is the 14th fret there on the B, hammer 17, pull back off the 14, over to 17 on the G. So just the first time you play the lick, basically it's played like that. And then from there, he does it 3 times a little bit different. It looks like this, which is going to be just a hammer from 14 to 17 on the B, and then just going straight to the 17 on the G string. So he's going to play this one first, and then 3 times of the more simplified. Then, so is, after that, we're going to go back to the 14th fret there on the G, and then pull off 17 to 16 on the G string, and then you're going to pull off 17, 16, 14. So, and then we're going to end it with pulling off 16 to 14 on the G, and roll over to the 14 on the B, and end it there at the 16 on the D. So we have this. So we have this. All right, then we're going to take it down here. Now, a lot of these notes kind of got the pinch harmonic, so you're kind of really just digging into the string. So it starts with a bend at the 5th fret on there on the B string. You get a little harmonic on that. And then you're going to come over to the, just a whole step bend. You're going to then come over to the G string, and what's going on here, it's like a half step bend that you're going to pick 3 times, but you're going to be releasing the bend slowly as you do. And then you're going to go down to 3, 2 on the G, and then 4, 3, 2 on the D string. Remember, kind of dig in and get those pinch harmonics. And then 4, 3, 2 on the A string. And then this part is where it matches up with the rhythm guitar part there, that it's going to match up with that. At open A, hit twice, up back up to the 2nd fret. So this, sorry. So all together slowly. All right, then we get back to the bridge, which is just like the intro, just kind of like the. Told you that gate was getting to me. Then so just repeat it. It's basically repeated kind of twice as long or whatever, but it still has that same. So it's played the same, just longer repeats, and then that ending is the same as well too. And then we basically go out of the bridge. We get back to the main riff that has these harmonics that ended as well that are a little bit different, the kind of reverse of the harmonics we did earlier that take us to the 2nd solo. So this main riff there, right before the 2nd solo, looks like this. All right, so that's basically that same riff. And then we're just gonna end it with those harmonics. And that's just that D string harmonic at the 5th fret, and then the G string, the 5th fret. So those are single notes both. And then up here to the 7th fret, D string, and then the G and B together. And then the D string at the 12th fret and the G and B together. And then that takes us to the second solo. The second solo also has a rhythm under it, but that rhythm is just that main riff, that main. So nothing new to do there. We just need to take a look at the solo. The solo's killer. So here we go. I'll play through the solo for you real quick, and I'll show you how to play it note for note. All right, so that's got a lot of Eddie-isms in it. So we're gonna start here with this harmonic at the 5th fret. And that's just kind of at the 5th fret on the G, hit it with the bar, and a little dip and come back with it. And we have this. All right, so this is kind of a bend and release the 7th fret there on the G. Pull off to 5, over to 7 on the D string, and then a couple of whole step bend and releases at the 7th fret on the G. Then you're gonna tap this 12th fret there, the G string, release the tap, and then you kind of release the bend down here, and you tap the 10th fret while bending up that note on the 7th fret again on the behind. This is one of those things that's hard to do just cold in the middle. It's easier in the middle of the actual lick. I don't know why. Anyway, so we have this. See that last note? I'm still bending into that 10th fret and then pull off to that bent note. So we have this. All right, and then we have kind of a crazy legato-y, picky, open string thing. It's like the. So this was a little bit awkward. So we're gonna pick the open string, open A string, pick the 4th fret, pull off to the open, and then hit the open again. And then for a few strings, we have kind of the same, at least lick and picking pattern, kind of the. So. So after this A string, you're gonna come up here, pick 5th fret on the D, pull off to the open D, and then pick the 7th fret. Same lick, different frets, different string. Now on the G string, you're gonna pick the 6th fret, pull off to the open G, and then pick the 9th on the G. And then we're gonna go over to the B string. It's gonna be the same lick, except the top note's gonna be first. So 8th fret, pull off to the open B, and then pick 7. So, and then I'm gonna go up to the 10th fret on the high E string, pull off to the open E, and then grab the 12th fret, and then start bending up and just kills it immediately. All right, very awkward. So then we have this. So we have that kind of bluesy thing. So that's a step and a half bend. So maybe a 2-step bend. The bend's gonna get even bigger coming up in a minute. So it's kind of a big bend in the 13th fret. Pull, then down to 10, and then he kind of starts picking that 13th fret again, slowly bending it up a half step each time. then you pick that final one and release the bend and pull off the 10th fret. All right, then we have one of these kind of signature Eddie licks. It's kind of a symmetrical thing. It's kind of confusing to the ear, I understand, and he kind of ends it with this quick little blues lick. So it looks like this. All right, so that's gonna start with, so here I'm gonna kind of break this apart so you can find the pattern there. But basically what's going on here first, he likes to take these little symmetrical things. So he's doing 14, 17, and 20 on each of these strings here. He never makes it down to the 14 on the B though, but it's kind of, that's what he likes to do, to kind of keep the same shape. So you just want to think that, right? So the first 3 notes are not part of the pattern. So it's just straight up, just to kind of get you into the lick, all right? So this is 14, 17, 20 on the high E string. All right, then what he does is he takes this same kind of spread shape and he plays the same lick twice with it. So this is what makes it easy to understand. So after these initial 3 setup notes, then we have this, which is 14 on the high E string, pull off 17 to 14, and then over to 20 on the B string, 14 on the high string, so we have this. And then you're gonna end this pattern by playing 17, 20 on the B. So the pattern is, so get that pattern. So remember, the first 3 notes, not part of the pattern. And then we do that exact same pattern again. So that's when you can see the patterns that are happening. It can make more sense. Because other than that, it's a very strange sequence of notes. All right, so then after that, we're pretty much done. So it comes back to the 14th fret again, picks that, and pulls off 16 to 14. And then comes down to the G string, 17th fret there. And it's gonna do a quick bend and release at the 17th fret on G, pull off to 14, hit 16 on the D string, and some really big wide bends, kind of wide vibrato really on the 16th fret on the G again. So we have this. Yeah. All right, and then he goes into this lick. So that is a huge bend. It's a 2.5 step bend at the end. It comes all the way up to the, sounds like the 22nd fret there on the B. So he slides into the 15th fret there on the A string, and then you're gonna hammer 14 to 17 on the D, G, and B. And then bend that all the way up till it sounds like that. So it's a 2.5 step, not the easiest thing on this guitar's got 10 through 52 on it, so my fingers are having a blast today. So we're basically, and when you get to the top of that bend, grab the bar and add some really kind of heavy vibrato to it. All right, and then we're gonna end this thing with some double stuff. So it's kind of tremolo picking double stops is what he's doing. So that's going to be the 5th fret there on the B and the 6th fret there on the G string. So you kind of pick across those 2 strings and then move it up 3 frets. So 8 on the B, 9 on the G string. And then it kind of goes up to the 14th fret there on the G by itself for a second, and then we go back to this shape here and just move it up chromatically, which is the 15th fret there on the B, 16 on the G. Still tremolo picking, then 1 fret up, so it's 16, 17, and end it with a 17 on the B, 18 on the G. So there's all right, and then it kind of slides down like that, and then we get down to this outro, which is a perfect opportunity to throw your guitar out of tune because there's a lot of bar dives and pick scrapes and all good stuff. So it looks like this outro right out of the second solo. Looks like this. Gotta love Eddie. Anyways, what's going on there? So it just kind of goes down to this A power chord out of that solo. A power chord. It's gonna be a little bit of a bar dive. And then what it does is it goes to that C power chord that we did earlier, but it adds the 5th in the bass. So it's the 3rd fret across the A and the low, and then the 5th fret on the D and the G. So, and then you hit that. Kind of want to still keep that swing feel going, that power chord a couple times. Then back to the A power chord. So basically it's going between these two, like. So it's going between those, but it adds either a bar dive or a pick scrape. So the first one's a bar dive, second one pick scrape, back to the bar dive, back to the pick scrape. So you're just doing it in between these chords each time. So we'll start with this, sorry. Bar dive, then pick scrape, bar dive, pick scrape. So after you've done that like 4 times, and you get back to this A power chord, and it has this little descending sequence, which starts with the A power chord, goes to an open G power chord. It doesn't do this. It doesn't do that kind of power chord. The first, when you hear it's not the 3rd fret power chord. It's an A power chord here, and then it goes to the open G power chord. So it's still a power chord, but using open strings. It's a big difference, and then it gets the more muffled sounding power chords. So we have this A power chord, G power chord, which is basically, you're just removing the 3rd of the chords. So it's just a G5 chord, not a G major chord. So it's the 3rd fret of the low E. I'm muting the A string at the bottom of that finger, then open D, open G, 3rd fret on the B, 3rd fret on the high E string. And then the F sharp power chord of the 2nd fret of the low E string. Then the 1st fret, F power chord. Kind of pause, and then goes up to this E power chord. Just open E, 7th fret on the A, 9 on the D, G. You hit that. This really is just a power chord. Strum that, and then it does this later in Hot for Teacher, but just kind of moving this up. You get off the fretboard. You hear just those percussive notes. And then at the end, as it gets all the way back, you hear that low E string just ringing. So I just kind of actually coming off. I make sure that's still, I kind of hit it real quick just to keep it going. Let that ring for a second, then it's a quick little pick scrape, ends the song. Fun track. When you get that swing feel and you can do it the whole time, and then you got this crazy solo. It's a lot of fun to play. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Been getting some requests for this for a while, so finally knocked it out. I'll see you guys again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.